So you may have heard recently of reports of a player who goes by the name of Mr. Pay to Win, having spent $40,000 on microtransactions in the Pearl Shop in order to achieve full pen gear. So obviously this has rekindled the ongoing argument of pay to win versus pay for convenience. I find this game an interesting one, as you will find two very strong opinions on the subject, and there is very little agreement between the two opposing camps. I'll start by saying that I'm someone who doesn't have any strong feelings about this either way. So you're likely to fit into one camp or the other, one being pay to win, the other being pay for convenience. So to begin with, which side of the fence are you? Do you believe the game is pay to win or pay for convenience? And also, do you spend money on the game yourself? Let us know in the comments if you believe this game is pay to win or pay for convenience. So I think the very definition of pay to win is subjective. If your definition of pay to win is something that sounds a little bit like any game that you can spend money on that in return gives you a direct advancement or enhancement, then yeah, this game is pay to win. If that's your definition, then you win the argument. You're right. There's no questioning that. You can spend money on this game for a direct advantage. A value pack fits this definition. But your definition of pay to win might be along the lines of any game that you can spend money on to obtain benefits that are otherwise unobtainable. Then no, this game isn't pay to win. It's possible to obtain full pen gear without paying a penny, technically. So in this case, you win the argument. It's not so cut and dry though, because there's other factors that you need to take into consideration. So to begin with, what's the definition of winning anyway? There's no one single goal in this game, and everyone has their own individual measures of success. So is winning to have the highest level gear in the game, does that make you a winner? Is it one-on-one PvP? Does being able to beat somebody in the combat arena mean that you're winning? Or maybe your definition of winning is having the most profitable worker empire. So what does winning actually mean to you? What is your measure of success? Let me know in the comments. You also have to consider how achievable something is. So I spoke about the definition, any game that you can spend money on to obtain benefits that are otherwise unobtainable. Because technically you can achieve full pen gear without paying anything, but how achievable is that? The game is only young, less than 3 months old at this point, and people are making substantial and noteworthy progress without paying. I've got a high level of confidence that in the coming months we'll have people who have achieved full pen. Maybe not many, but I'm sure some. When you pay 40k for anything, things are going to happen infinitely faster than when you don't pay anything. That is just life. But is paying 40k realistic? 40k is a lot of money by itself, let alone 40k to spend on intangible items. So I previously worked in a bank, and I worked there for 10 years. And I worked in one of the most affluent areas in the city. And the city I live in has the second highest population in the country. In the whole 10 years that I worked there, meeting quite literally thousands of people discussing their finances, the highest incomes I remember seeing was around £150,000 per year. And I only saw this money maybe once or twice in my career. The majority of customers had incomes ranging between £800 to £4,000 per month, and averaging at around £1,500 on a monthly basis. These people aren't earning anywhere near enough to be this much pay to win. People who earn the vast amounts needed to be able to spend this kind of money do exist, but they're rare. I remember one time my brother told me about an Australian lawyer who he played with spending around 1,000 Australian dollars per month on a Facebook game. It was mind-blowing to me. But even that was pale by comparison to spending $40,000 in a 3-month period. So whether or not you believe being able to spend $40,000 is pay to win or pay for convenience, the reality is it's mostly unachievable. So why does a game like Black Desert Online design a system in such a way that allows people to technically achieve these things? Because it's a business. As a business, any business, you aim to make the most money possible. The way Pale Abyss makes money is through the Pale Shop purchases. Their business model will be designed so that they can sustain their profits from us regular folks making smaller in-game transactions, but they have a system in place for that occasional, infrequent white whale. Because why wouldn't you? If you had a customer who's willing to spend in 3 months what it would take maybe 1,000 people to spend in a year, then you are going to nurture that customer. You are going to let them buy whatever they want, and you're going to give them whatever they want in return for that. So yeah, there's super rich walking around with the best gear, but what does it change? Ask yourself, how does it change your game? Let me know in the comments.